All right, guys, this lesson is for Chapter 11, Section 6, which is surface area and volume on spheres. So we're going to do both surface area and volume together on the sphere. In terms of drawing a sphere, again, y'all probably won't have to do it that much, but the key focus whenever you're trying to draw a sphere is what's called the great circle. The great circle of the world is basically the equator. And so you need to know what the great circle is, because whenever you're asked for the circumference of a sphere, it's going to include the great circle. The great circle also divides that circle into two hemispheres, the upper and the lower hemispheres. A lot of these things should be relatively familiar to you just from knowledge of geography and the world that we live on, which is a sphere. Radius and the center. The center of the sphere would be like the center of the world down in the core somewhere. And there is a radius of a sphere. It goes from the center of that sphere to the outside of the sphere. Usually it's shown along the great circle also. All right, so let's get to the equations. The surface area of a sphere is equal to 4 pi r squared. Hold on, my little stylus is falling apart as we speak. I'm having to put it back together. There we go. So it's 4 pi r squared. Basically, there are pi r squared, and there's 4 circles that encompass a sphere. There's a way to go through it, but I don't really feel that that's all that important. All you got to do is find the radius of the sphere. It may not always be given to you. At times, it may be having to be found from a diameter or some type of a triangular shape in there, but most of the time, hopefully, they'll give it to you. Just plug it in, leave it in terms of pi, and you should be good to go. Now, in terms of the volume of a sphere, the volume, you end up taking 4/3 pi r cubed. To get the volume. And so those can get a little bit mixed up because they both have a 4, but one is 4/3 and one is 4. Make sure it's cubed. That r has to be cubed, so you're going to have to use your caret button or do 4 times 4 times 4 or 10 times 10 times 10 or whatever's necessary on that. But ironically, this particular section is one of the easier ones. You might have to consider taking a cube root if you're asked to solve for the radius. Since the radius is cubed, just know that the cube root is on your calculator and it is under the math key. So if you get a little stuck there, that's where the cube root function is. Beyond that, I really don't feel it being necessary to go through examples. This is pretty straightforward math. There's your formulas. There's the information you need to get going on it. And then just see me in tutoring either tomorrow morning by appointment, or that's Thursday morning by appointment, or Thursday or Friday afternoon at 1 if you need some extra help on any of the problems. Hope you guys are having a good week. Hang in there. Just a few weeks left of school, and then we'll be able to kind of be done, at least for a little while.